What if the key to making women chase you wasn't about flashy displays of wealth, scripted pickup lines, or bending over backward for their attention? What if the real secret was something entirely different? Something that makes you effortlessly magnetic without even trying? The answer lies in detachment, confidence, and a deep sense of purpose. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't desperately seek validation. When you master emotional control, carry yourself with quiet confidence, and pursue a life of meaning, you create an irresistible pull, one that makes them want to chase you. Ready to unlock this hidden power? Let's dive in. 1. Master the art of detachment. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't desperately cling to their attention. Detachment, as understood through the lens of Stoicism, isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about valuing your inner peace above external validation. This mindset creates an aura of mystery and self-sufficiency that makes a woman curious, intrigued, and often willing to pursue you. At its core, detachment means maintaining control over your emotional reactions. It's recognizing that your happiness and self-worth don't hinge on someone else's opinion or attention. When you're detached, rejection doesn't faze you, and approval doesn't inflate your ego. You become grounded, centered, and immune to the highs and lows that emotionally reactive men experience. Why does this work psychologically? Humans are wired to value what's scarce and difficult to obtain. When a woman senses that you're not constantly vying for her attention or approval, she begins to wonder why. That subtle but powerful shift triggers her desire to chase what feels elusive. Detachment also demonstrates a high level of self-respect. A man who can walk away from a situation that doesn't serve him shows that he values his time and energy. Women respect and are naturally drawn to men who value themselves. Practical tips to cultivate detachment: maintain a full life, focus on your career, health, hobbies, and personal development. When your schedule is full, you naturally avoid over-investigation. Respond. Don't react. If someone cancels plans or doesn't text back immediately, remain calm. Life goes on regardless of someone else's behavior. Practice stoic reflection. Ask yourself regularly, does this really matter in the grand scheme of my life? This question helps you detach from petty concerns. Ultimately, detachment isn't about manipulating anyone. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because he's fully content with himself. And that's precisely why women are drawn to him. 2. Develop magnetic confidence through purpose. One of the most attractive traits a man can possess is confidence. Not the loud, boastful kind, but the steady, unshakable belief in himself. This form of confidence isn't something you're born with, it's cultivated through living with purpose. Why does purpose matter? Because when a man has a clear direction in life, he radiates an energy that women find irresistible. Purpose gives you focus, ambition, and resilience. It anchors your identity, so you no longer seek validation from external sources, including women. Psychologically, women are drawn to men with purpose because it signals leadership and stability. A man who knows where he's going in life creates a sense of security. He becomes the captain of his ship, charting his course with confidence. This naturally makes him someone women want to follow and support. The key difference between a man with purpose and one without is how he navigates life's challenges. A man without purpose drifts aimlessly, swayed by every setback. But a man on a mission stays grounded, undeterred by temporary obstacles. This composure under pressure makes him incredibly attractive. Steps to cultivate purpose: identify your passions. What activities make you lose track of time? These often point to your deeper interests. Set long-term goals. Break these goals down into actionable steps and start executing them daily. Avoid distractions. Cut out time wasters like excessive social media or mindless entertainment. Confidence rooted in purpose doesn't require constant affirmation. When you're building something meaningful, you naturally carry yourself differently. Women notice this, and they chase it because it's rare. 3. Emotional composure as a superpower. Imagine a heated argument or a high-stress situation. Most people would react impulsively, raising their voice, lashing out, or becoming visibly flustered. But then there's the man who stays calm, composed, and in control of himself. That man is unforgettable. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can maintain emotional stability. It's not just about being cool under pressure, it's about signaling strength and maturity. Emotional composure shows that you're capable of handling life's challenges without losing your footing. This trait is rooted in the Stoic principle of controlling what you can and letting go of what you cannot. Life will always throw chaos your way, unexpected rejections, setbacks, and disappointments. How you respond to these events defines your character. From a psychological standpoint, emotional stability is attractive because it provides a sense of security. Women want to be around men who won't crumble under stress or become erratic when things don't go their way. Practical ways to build emotional composure: pause before reacting. When you feel your emotions rising, take a breath and count to 3 before responding. This simple habit can prevent impulsive reactions. Reframe negative situations. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Journal your thoughts. Writing down your frustrations helps you process them logically rather than emotionally. Men who maintain emotional composure become pillars of strength in any relationship. They're dependable, grounded, and capable of leading through difficult times. And this naturally makes women want to chase them. 4. Be a challenge worth pursuing. Here's a harsh truth: people value what isn't easily obtained. This principle applies universally, including when it comes to attraction. Women are instinctively drawn to men who present a challenge, not because they enjoy rejection, but because they crave the thrill of earning someone's time and attention. When a man makes himself too available, constantly bending over backward to please, he signals one thing: desperation. And desperation kills attraction. On the other hand, when you become a challenge, someone who is selective with their time and energy, you naturally inspire pursuit. Why challenges create attraction? Psychologically, people are wired to assign greater value to things they have to work for. It's called the scarcity principle. What's rare or difficult to obtain feels more meaningful and valuable. A man who doesn't immediately fall at a woman's feet signals that his time and attention are precious commodities. Being a challenge doesn't mean being rude, cold, or dismissive. It simply means living your life on your terms and not allowing your schedule or decisions to be dictated by anyone else's whims. How to become a challenge? Be purposeful, focus on your mission and goals. A man with a full life naturally becomes less available. Don't seek constant validation, avoid excessive compliments or needy behavior. Let your words and actions be intentional. Say no when necessary, respect your own boundaries and time. Women don't want what's handed to them on a silver platter. They want to earn your respect, admiration, and affection. When you embody this principle, women chase you because you're not just a man, you're an opportunity worth pursuing. 5. Master the subtle power of non-neediness. Have you ever noticed how some men effortlessly command attention without even trying? They walk into a room completely unfazed by who notices them or not. And somehow, that indifference becomes magnetic. What you're witnessing is the power of non-neediness, a trait that instantly separates you from the pack. Non-neediness doesn't mean you lack interest in others. Instead, it's about being so secure in yourself that you don't depend on external validation to feel worthy. This mindset creates an irresistible dynamic because it signals self-sufficiency and high value. Why non-neediness works? From a psychological perspective, non-neediness conveys abundance. It suggests that you have options and aren't desperate to cling to any single one. When a woman senses that you aren't fixated on winning her approval, it piques her curiosity and desire. On the flip side, neediness reeks of insecurity. When you constantly seek reassurance or try too hard to impress, it signals a lack of confidence. And women instinctively pull away from that energy. Practical ways to cultivate non-neediness. 1. Invest in yourself. Build a life filled with passions, goals, and meaningful pursuits. The busier and more fulfilled you are, the less dependent you'll be on external validation. 2. Avoid overtexting. Don't blow up someone's phone with messages, Keep conversations natural and balanced. 3. Adopt a mindset of abundance. Remind yourself that no single person determines your happiness or success. When you embody non-neediness, you communicate one thing loud and clear: I'm whole and fulfilled on my own. And that's the kind of man women are naturally drawn to and willing to chase. 6. Embrace authentic vulnerability without oversharing. Contrary to popular belief, vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength. But here's the catch: not all vulnerability is attractive. Authentic vulnerability, when balanced with emotional composure, makes a man magnetic. The mistake many men make is confusing vulnerability with oversharing or emotional dumping. Sharing every personal struggle or insecurity up front can be overwhelming and even unattractive. True vulnerability is about being honest and open while remaining grounded and self-assured. Why vulnerability is attractive? From a psychological standpoint, vulnerability creates connection. It shows that you're secure enough in yourself to express your thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. Women respect and admire men who can communicate authentically without losing composure. However, authenticity must be balanced with strength. A man who only shares hardships without demonstrating resilience comes across as emotionally unstable. The key is showing that you've faced challenges but emerged stronger because of them. How to practice authentic vulnerability. 1. Choose the right moments. Share personal stories when they add value to the conversation, not as a means of seeking pity or approval. 2. Show growth. Frame challenges as learning experiences rather than lingering sources of pain. 3. Maintain emotional control. Express feelings without being overwhelmed by them. For example, instead of saying, I'm really insecure and anxious all the time, you might say, I've had moments of anxiety in the past, but I've learned to manage them by focusing on mindfulness and discipline. Women are drawn to men who can strike this delicate balance between strength and openness. When you master authentic vulnerability, you become relatable, trustworthy, and deeply compelling. Someone worth chasing. Here are some audience reactions after reading this news. Detachment is not about being cold or indifferent, it is the ability to control emotions, remain calm, and avoid becoming dependent on external validation or attention. When a man truly masters the art of detachment, he naturally becomes more attractive. Women are drawn to men who do not desperately cling to them because this creates an aura of mystery and self-sufficiency. Human psychology is wired to value what is scarce and difficult to obtain. And when a woman senses that a man is not constantly seeking her approval, she begins to wonder why. This subtle but powerful shift triggers a natural desire to pursue what feels elusive. Detachment also demonstrates a high level of self-respect. A man who can walk away from a situation that does not serve him shows that he values his time and energy. And women inherently respect and are attracted to men who value themselves. True detachment means maintaining emotional stability, recognizing that happiness and self-worth do not depend on someone else's opinion or attention. When a man is detached, rejection does not faze him, and approval does not inflate his ego. He remains grounded, centered, and immune to the emotional highs and lows that reactive men often experience. The key to cultivating detachment lies in building a fulfilling life, focusing on career, health, hobbies, and personal development naturally prevents overinvestment in any single person or relationship. Responding rather than reacting is another crucial principle. When plans change or a message goes unanswered, a detached man remains calm, understanding that life continues regardless of someone else's behavior. Practicing stoic reflection by regularly asking whether a particular issue truly matters in the grand scheme of life helps in letting go of trivial concerns. Ultimately, detachment is not about manipulation but about becoming a man who does not need to chase because he is fully content within himself. And that is precisely why women are drawn to him. Confidence is another essential factor in attraction, but not the loud, boastful kind. Magnetic confidence stems from a deep, unshakable belief in oneself, which is cultivated through living with purpose. A man with a clear direction in life radiates an energy that is inherently compelling. Purpose provides focus, ambition, and resilience. anchoring identity in something greater than external validation. Women are naturally drawn to men with purpose because it signals leadership and stability. A man who knows where he is going creates a sense of security, making him someone women want to follow and support. The difference between a man with purpose and one without is evident in how they navigate challenges. A purposeless man drifts aimlessly, easily swayed by setbacks, while a man on a mission remains undeterred and composed under pressure, which is incredibly attractive. Cultivating purpose requires identifying passions, setting long-term goals, and taking daily actionable steps toward achieving them. Eliminating distractions such as excessive social media or mindless entertainment ensures sustained focus. Confidence rooted in purpose does not require constant affirmation. When a man is building something meaningful, he naturally carries himself differently, and women take notice. Emotional composure is another powerful trait that sets a man apart. In high-stress situations, most people react impulsively, but a man who remains calm and composed is unforgettable. Women are instinctively drawn to men who exhibit emotional stability because it signals strength and maturity. It is not just about appearing cool under pressure but about demonstrating resilience and control. Emotional composure is deeply rooted in the Stoic principle of focusing on what can be controlled and letting go of what cannot. Life is filled with unexpected rejections, setbacks, and disappointments, and how a man responds to these events defines his character. From a psychological perspective, emotional stability is attractive because it provides a sense of security. Women prefer men who will not crumble under stress or become erratic in difficult moments. Developing emotional composure involves practicing patience before reacting, reframing negative situations as opportunities for growth, and journaling to process thoughts logically rather than emotionally. Men who maintain composure become pillars of strength in any relationship, making them naturally desirable. Additionally, being a challenge is a fundamental aspect of attraction. People inherently value what is not easily obtained, and this principle applies to relationships as well. Women are drawn to men who present a challenge not because they enjoy rejection but because they appreciate the thrill of earning someone's time and attention. A man who is too available and constantly seeks to please signals desperation, which kills attraction. In contrast, a man who is selective with his time and energy inspires pursuit. The psychological principle behind this dynamic is the scarcity effect. What is rare or difficult to obtain is perceived as more valuable. A man who does not immediately fall at a woman's feet signals that his time and attention are precious commodities. Being a challenge does not mean being rude or dismissive but rather living life on one's terms and not allowing one's schedule or decisions to be dictated by external demands. To cultivate this mindset, a man must focus on his mission and goals, naturally becoming less available, avoiding excessive validation, setting firm boundaries, and learning to say no when necessary reinforces the idea that respect and admiration must be earned. Women do not want what is handed to them effortlessly, they want to feel they have earned a man's attention and respect. Another key element in attraction is non-neediness. Some men effortlessly command attention without even trying because they exude a sense of self-sufficiency. Non-neediness does not mean a lack of interest in others, rather, it is about being so secure in oneself that external validation is unnecessary. This mindset is powerful because it signals abundance and high value. When a man is not fixated on seeking a woman's approval, it piques her curiosity and desire. Conversely, neediness conveys insecurity. When a man constantly seeks reassurance or tries too hard to impress, it signals a lack of confidence, which naturally repels women. Cultivating non-neediness involves investing in oneself, building a fulfilling life, and maintaining balance in communication. Avoiding excessive texting and adopting a mindset of abundance reinforce the idea that no single person determines happiness or success. The message is clear: a man who is whole and fulfilled on his own is naturally attractive. Finally, embracing authentic vulnerability without oversharing is a crucial skill. Contrary to common belief, vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength. However, not all forms of vulnerability are attractive. Authentic vulnerability, when balanced with emotional composure, creates deep connections. Many men make the mistake of equating vulnerability with emotional dumping, sharing every insecurity or personal struggle in an overwhelming way. True vulnerability is about being open and honest while remaining grounded and self-assured. Psychologically, vulnerability fosters trust and connection. It demonstrates that a man is secure enough in himself to express thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. However, vulnerability must be balanced with strength. A man who only shares hardships without demonstrating resilience can appear emotionally unstable. The key is to frame challenges as learning experiences rather than lingering sources of pain. Choosing the right moments to share, showing personal growth, and maintaining emotional control ensure that vulnerability remains attractive. Instead of saying, "I'm really insecure and anxious all the time," a better approach is, "I've had moments of anxiety, but I've learned to manage them through mindfulness and discipline." Women are drawn to men who strike the perfect balance between strength and openness. When a man masters authentic vulnerability, he becomes relatable, trustworthy, and deeply compelling, someone truly worth pursuing. Thank you for watching. Do you enjoy Stoic Path? If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.